My next guest is a lifelong martial artist. She's originally from Brazil, and today she lives in the northeastern part of the United States. She joins me today, Miss Fernanda Araujo. Fernanda, thank you so much for being here. I've been wanting to do this show with you for quite some time. You're a very, very exciting fighter to watch.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm so excited.
I am excited to talk to you. You have had an incredible career. And when I look past all the things that you've done, there's like one stat to me that stands out. You've not lost a professional bout in almost 4 years. That's pretty crazy and very, very impressive. But what's even more impressive is like the start of your pro career. You stumbled, you struggled a little bit. You lost your first fight, you lost your first MMA fight, and then you lost a boxing fight too. So I wanted to start there because it's like, did you ever think to yourself, like, is this really for me? Like, do you start second guessing yourself? Like, what is it that you had to work on to like overcome slow start to your professional fighting career?
Definitely, being an athlete is always the roller coaster. We get to the top and then we go down and then go up again. But I had that first pro fight was 145. I was fighting 135 for I think for most of my all amateur records, my amateur fights, and I wanted to try 145 because it was hard to make weight 135.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And yeah, I took a fight I think I won a belt in Florida for my last amateur. It was 145. And then on the pro, they invited me to fight 145. And was a close fight, it was a little struggle. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got my shoulder surgery. And then 6 months after that, I fought my first pro. And then I lost. And was a little downhill for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Took 4 years after that. I think 3 years for me to get a fight again.
Mm-hmm.
And took another boxing, and then I won. And then I fought 145 MMA again, and I won. And then I fought Maya 145 again, and then I won. So last year was a pretty good year. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a fantastic year, and you're hitting on something, Fernanda, that I think is so important because it was something I didn't really think about a whole lot until I started covering the sport. If you are a female fighter at any weight class, it is so difficult to get fights at all levels. Like unless you make it to a major organization like Bellator, PFL, or the UFC, getting fights, it's a struggle. And I wanted to ask you, like, what are some things that happen behind the scenes in order for you to get a fight? Like, do you and your coaches, like, you must be spending a crazy amount of time talking to promoters or talking to other gyms to line these things up?
Oh yeah, I have my manager, and then I have my coaches reaching out to everywhere because I actually fought everywhere in America, Alabama, Florida, California. So I don't care where. I just want to fight. So it's been a struggle.
Yeah, can you talk to me a little bit, Fernanda, about like you're born in Brazil, you grow up there for a little bit, and then you move to the States, and I'm pretending like the opposite. Like, okay, I was born in California. Let's pretend that I had to move over to Brazil and then learn a totally different culture, a totally different language, and just try to like function as like a normal human being down there, let alone a prize fighter. So I wanted to like stop and just like ask about that. Like, how hard was that coming to this strange place that's completely opposite of where you're from? Like, was that difficult for you? Can you talk a little bit about what it was like, just kind of immersing yourself into like the American culture and like just I don't know, trying to make sense of it because I'm sure it was very strange.
Oh, for sure. I didn't speak English at all when I moved here. I moved because of judo.
Mm-hmm.
I came to train with Jimmy Pedro. I was on the same team with Kayla Harrison for 2012 and when she was training for 2012 and 2016 Olympics. Travis Stevens was hard in the beginning. All we did was training. I had to go to school to learn English too,
Mm-hmm.
and The first 6 months was pretty hard,
Yeah, I would
not
imagine.
understanding and different culture. But I was 18,
Hmm.
so I think the age helped me
Hmm.
to, emerge in the American culture.
Hmm.
But it was fun. It's been what, 13 years already? I
Right.
think this month is gonna be 13 years in America, and definitely it was the best decision I ever made.
Do you ever get to go back to Brazil?
Oh yeah, I go every year. I try to go every year, but in my first 5 years here, I had to go at least 6 times because I used to have to compete for the national for judo.
Hmm.
So I would leave on a Thursday, get there on a Friday, fight on a Saturday, and come back on a Sunday because I was in college too, so I couldn't miss
Wow.
class. But yes, I always go back. My family always come here too.
Can you? You're hitting on something that I think is like something we're seeing more and more often. Like there are a lot of. You're not the only one. There are like more and more Brazilian fighters that are coming to America to like get with training, to get with some of these gyms. Evelyn Martins is a good example. She was a competitor in Brazil for many years, and then her and her family relocated. Crazy. There's like more and more people that are coming to America to train, and I wanted to like get your advice on that. If there was like a young kid in Brazil, he's thinking about maybe coming to the States to train and be a full time fighter, like what's some advice that you would give somebody that is back home that's maybe thinking about moving to America to try to do it, because it can't be easy.
No, you just have to have courage. Nothing in
Mm-hmm.
life is easy. Just is that what you want? Come because there's a lot of opportunities. It's a great country, and yeah,
Just got
just
to
be
do it. Got to
ready.
make that leap of faith, I guess, right? Like
Yes,
I guess you always have to ask yourself, anytime I've ever had to do something scary, it's like, well, like, well, how bad do I want this? Right. And it's like, I can either chicken out and go home and not ever like think anything of it, or, I could like take that leap of faith and we'll see what happens. And maybe I'll do well. Maybe it'll go well for me, but maybe it won't. But at least at the end of the day, if it doesn't go well, I'll know that, hey, I at least tried, and
you try it.
I'm
You
not
have
gonna
to,
wonder what if. I at least made that effort and I tried. But
definitely.
that's got to be a scary experience. Like, you're
It
coming to a
is.
place where you don't speak the language, like you can't read anything. It's just like, what the hell am I doing here? And it's cold outside too. It's got to be like,
Yeah,
oh
it was
God.
crazy. It was yeah, but it was fun. It was hard, but it was fun. Definitely. Looking back now, definitely the best decision.
But like when it's all said and done, you'll look back on that decision and we're like, wow, that was like a turning point in my life, where it's like, I look back on it and like that was the moment that like changed my life, was just kind of like moving up here and getting started.
Definitely. It was. It was. It changed my life.
So being a prize fighter, being a pro, talking to hundreds of you, I have heard some crazy stuff that you guys go through in order to compete, whether it's training, the hours that you put in, the jobs that you work, the things that you do in order to stay active in training, but also like pay all of your bills at the same time. Like those are two incredibly difficult things to do. And I don't think a lot of people like realize how difficult that is. And that's something that I know that not all fighters are really comfortable talking about. But at the same time, like, I have to ask you, like, this isn't an easy life. It's very difficult, and it's low paying. There's not a
It
lot of
is.
money in this, and there's only a small fraction of fighters that make the crazy amount of money. Even for the people that are in like the UFC, if you're on an entry level contract, most of them still work regular jobs. So I have to ask, like, how the hell are you doing all of this?
It's not easy. Paying for the tournaments too, traveling, paying for our coach to travel because sometimes they only pay for us.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get more money selling tickets than fighting.
Right, right.
It's crazy.
I would imagine the commission is oftentimes greater than the purse.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes that's how you do it.
can you talk to me a little bit about your gym? Like, who are the people that you train with, and what is that experience like?
I train in I train with four different coaches.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, I train everywhere. Because Massachusetts, there's not like one main place that you have everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta I go everywhere to get the best of out of everyone. But I train with Anderson. He's my MMA and my mainly BJJ coach,
Mm-hmm.
Team Forza. He's amazing. He fought Jose Aldo. He's uh he's an amazing professor. And then I have defensive edge where I have been fighting out of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there for 10 years. Um, then I have my boxing coaches, Farcano and Vincent. And I train too, and I work at Sigyothong with Mark Delagran. So I train a little everywhere.
Wow. So that's like you're driving your car everywhere to go to all
Yeah.
these places. That's got to be that's like quite a commitment. Like, are all these places like relatively close to where you live?
It is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm lucky with that. Also, I teach there too.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So
So
I'm in
that
the
makes
gym
things a
24/7.
little bit easier then.
It is, yes. It's both of my jobs.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, I did want to hit on two more things. Let's talk about your fight. You fought Maya Stewart, who is a very good fighter. I've met Maya before. I've seen her fight a few different times, and that was your most recent MMA bout. What is it that you remember about that fight? How did that one go down? And like, what were the things that you think about here in the months after that?
One is how tall she is compared to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5'4" and she's like what 5'8".
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so
She is. She's pretty tall. Yes.
she was a good kicker, definitely. I work on my stand up. I didn't take to the ground. Actually, was my the only fight that I didn't use my judo. All my other fights, I have what 13, 14 MMA fights, and all of them I had my judo. But this was the only time that I was like wanted to try my stand up. You know, people see me as a judo black belt, my background, but I love stand up. I love fighting in general, you know.
Right.
Last year I immersed myself into jiu-jitsu, did some IBJJ competition for the first time. So I like to be the complete athlete.
You hit on something because she's so tall. Did that and because of your and because like you're way shorter. Like, what is it that you're supposed to do? Like when you're like having to fight like a big giant like Maya. Like, what do you? Because I'm thinking to myself, like you would have to like dart in and out of the pocket like the entire
Yeah,
time and just hope you don't get cracked.
yeah,
Because one shot against somebody like her and you're going to go to sleep. That's how
for
strong she
sure.
is.
Yeah. Most important thing was like I had to have my hands up the whole time, no matter what.
Right, right.
But also, yeah, it's finding my range, that in and out, being quick with that. So helping boxing had helped me a lot with that. So it was a way to try,
Mm-hmm.
you know, work on my different skills.
So what's next for you? I see that you posted on Instagram that you're going to be teaching a seminar. That looks pretty cool. I wanted to know a little bit more about like what went down, like what made you decide that you wanted to like pursue giving instruction like this. I think it seems like a really cool opportunity. And can you talk a little bit about that and how you decided to get into actual
Um,
instruction?
I mean, I have been training since I was 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
competing since I don't even remember. I started with karate. And my first international tournament was I was 8 years old, 9 years old. I took third at Worlds in Japan. So being an athlete my whole life, I always said I was never gonna teach, but I started as a like an intern job for my school for me to graduate,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got the opportunity to start my beginner Muay Thai, my beginner MMA class. And after that, having that fun teaching, I just want to, get my spread my world out there, teach a lot of women. I'm working on my self-defense program. Every woman should know how to defend themselves. Every woman should be in sports, fighting sports, and there's no age. It's just a matter of like protection and knowing
Hmm.
how to handle yourself. And we are capable to, if we have to beat up someone, we will.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I always say I want to build my woman's empire out there, teaching a lot of women.
Well, I think it's really important. And then the other thing is I assume it's a women's only class.
Yes, this one is a woman's. Yeah, women's. I have been teaching a lot of doing a lot of like takedown seminar for judo, jiu-jitsu, and stuff. But I have been focused on the women's seminar for a lot of women's. Yeah.
That's got to be a really cool opportunity for somebody to learn about self-defense from somebody of like your caliber. Like that's a really rare opportunity that not really anyone can like take advantage of all the time. Is there something that the students that want to take that seminar, is there something that they need to know before they go through the door? Like, do they get like homework? Can you tell
Just
me a
show
little
up.
bit?
I get a lot of excuses. They're like, "Oh, I'm not in shape. I don't know if I can do it." Yes, you can. You don't need to be in shape to, step in the gym. You just have to step in it. So yeah, don't be afraid. Take the first step and learn how to defend themselves. How to be able to have confidence.
I think that's a great thing, and it's definitely an opportunity for empowerment. I think that's important for any woman to take advantage of. Tell me about, before I let you go, your 2023. It's been a while since you've been fighting, but I'm sure that you have some things floating around in the back of your mind. Like, what are some of your plans for this year?
I want to fight as much as I can. Waiting for the opportunity, waiting for the call for the next fight. Unfortunately, it's that waiting game.
Before I let you go, I had one important question for you. You can't say Anderson Silva. You can't say him. And you can't say Glover either. So who's your favorite Brazilian mixed martial artist of all time? Can't say those two guys though.
I started MMA because my chemistry professor in high school, my last year of high school, he knew that I was moving to America, and he showed me Chris Cyborg fight. And he showed me the fight, and he showed me her fighting, and I was like, I want to fight. So she's a true inspiration. Yes, she started. She's one of the pioneers. So I give credit to her.
That
Being a
is
woman in this man environment, she started and she did
that
it.
is a fantastic answer, and that Chris has always been my favorite Brazilian fighter. Um, I love watching her fight. Incredible, like what she is able to do. Like, whew, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you take fighters like her for granted. They're so good, they're so entertaining, and you don't miss them until they're gone. You're just like, oh shit, like that was something really special. And when you look at what she's been able to do and apply that for so many years, like she's
Oh
been
yeah.
perfect for so many years.
She
Like,
doesn't get that much credit either. People always mention Ronda Rousey, but
no,
Grace Cyborg, Roxanne Medaffair, like
yeah.
Katsiano, all those are, they started.
Yeah, like hey, all credit for all those, but for me, it's Chris Cyborg. I look at her; I've always liked watching her fight,
She's amazing. And
and
keep still fighting.
yeah, yeah. She
It's
just won her last boxing match. She
yeah.
just boxed, and then she won that too. I'll be really curious to see like what Bellator does with her, if they're going to make her defend again, or if that's something she wants to do. I would imagine she'll. I think Chris is going to fight at least a couple more times. We'll see.
I think so too. She's gonna fight him too. I don't know.
We will absolutely see. Fernanda, before I let you go, I wanted to give you an opportunity. If there are any people that you'd like to talk about or anyone you'd like to thank, I'd like you to have that chance before I let you go.
No, just want to thank my coaches, my training partners, the people that have helped me, my parents, my dad, my mom, my sister. Uh God always, without him I'm nothing. So all the people around me. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for having me here today.
Absolutely. My pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Please check her out, and we will have you back on the show very, very soon.